okay, and they can see all of Chicago.
On a clear day, yeah, I'm sure you can.
So that means that it's not bending. We can accept
You're not
probably.
at that level at 15 miles. You're not going to see that bending though, and it's going to be such a small fractional marginal bend that if you do see that bend, then you need to have a significant difference between you and the horizon.
But that was why this formula, 8 inches per mile squared. People who hate this idea that the Earth is flat agree that the formula has to be 8 inches per mile squared.
Okay, sure.
Because if it's a
like I said, I don't know these formulas.
No, that's fine.
But
And nor did I. I was quite well educated, I thought. And I didn't get given this information ever, that there was a formula for the bending and curving of this Earth that we live on.
Oh, I'm aware that there's a formula. I just didn't know that it was 8 inches per mile.
8 inches per mile squared. And
but that even in itself seems quite an excessive sort of overestimation of it.
I know, it seems too much. And we know that if there's a low point, the water's going to run to that low point. You know, if it rains here, the lowest point is where the water will pool.
Yeah, of course.
We know that. And as that pool fills up and it gets to the limit of what that pool can contain, it will flow over that and find the next lowest point, and it will settle there. That's what fluid dynamics is essentially. But then we're told that after a certain distance, because we live on a globe with gravity, eventually it's going to start to bend. But never look for it.
But the water in itself is not bending. The water is not bending.
The surface of water doesn't bend. That's what I'm with you. That water bottle that's lying there the water on it is lying horizontal with the ocean, actually. It's parallel to all bodies of water.
You know, we're probably, I don't know about Cardiff, 50 metres above sea level? I don't know I'm not from Cardiff.
Yeah, but it's horizontal, it's parallel, meaning that even if it's 50 metres above the sea level, if I was to bring it back down to sea level or to try and, measure that, I'd be like, yeah, those two are level, horizontal
within a contained
with each other.
space. So even if you had it upright, if you had it vertically rather than
no matter what you do to that bottle, once it comes to rest, it will be at a level and horizontal with the ocean.
So if the Earth is flat, where are the edges?
I'm glad you asked. I had no idea if there's an edge. I don't talk about that potentiality, but I'm going to offer you this as a thought, that this is an electromagnetic universe that we live in.
Well, yeah, of course we have electromagnetic fields. We've got the North and the South Pole known to be switching. It's a very well documented phenomenon, the Aurora Borealis and the Aurora Australis.
Yes. So what if we were on a torus field? If you allow it for the flat Earth, just again devil's advocate for a moment, then on the flat Earth model, I say to people, my research has led me to this idea that actually we're on an electromagnetic torus field, and it's like an apple that you've cut through the middle, and that's where we're standing right now, through the center of that. And on the center of that, and that we are in an electromagnetic system, you and I each, existing within the microcosm of that macrocosm. The electromagnetic system idea then means that after a certain height or a certain depth or a certain way away, the nature of the universe becomes too ethereal for us to travel through. So we can't go more than 100 miles up. We physically never drilled more than 8 miles down. I'm just offering you what I think, okay?
No.
But the fact is we've never gone lower than 8 miles. That's the deepest.
We have.
Where? How?
The Marina Trench is greater than 8 miles in depth.
I think it's 11 miles in depth.
But then we've just
I'm saying how far we've drilled. Sorry.
But it's not a matter of drilling. It's a matter of exploration. Of course, it's going to be a limit in which we can drill, because we as individuals we can manufacture materials, we can make things, but there is always a heat limit or a resistance limit to it, or a hardness limit. If you reach when we hit the bedrock, unless you've got diamond tipped drills of whatever, God knows what else, there's going to be a limit that we can reach as individuals through progression.
So this hole I'm talking about is done by the Russians. It's called the Kola Deep. And for 2 years, they managed to get an extra 20 centimeters or something like that depth. That was all they could. All their bits, diamond, you name it. Whatever they had, the best technology. And they stopped in 1997. So it's not old, but they gave up because they couldn't get any deeper than that. So
because you reach a thermal limit. Our Earth has got a molten core, which is incomprehensible.
That's right.
Of
and
how
apparently
hot it is.
there's a thermosphere above us, which reaches 2,000 degrees centigrade. But none of the materials that they make the spacecrafts with can endure that kind of heat.
The thermostat isn't 2,000 degrees centigrade, but it does have a variable heat limit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm offering you what I think about the edge. You asked me about the edge. I think that because it's an electromagnetic torus, that eventually our ability to traverse that breaks down. A guy called Admiral Byrd, an American who took thousands
Another
of...
theorist, or
No, this is a matter of fact, and it's on record. But he was the most celebrated American admiral. There were 3 ticker tape parades through New York for this guy, and he took a number of explorations down to the Antarctic in 1940, late 1940s, early 1950s. Operation Fishbowl, Operation... it doesn't matter. This is not theory. He came back and he's on record. You can see it as a black and white interview with on a Longines TV show, saying, "I found more land down there than there is in America. It is rife with gold, oil, not gold, sorry, coal, oil, and exploration awaits humanity." He died a few years later, and soon after that they signed the Antarctic Treaty, 50 countries, and they've never broken it. Meaning we don't get to go down there
because it's such a stable. You know, why we as individuals, our anthropogenic influence on this earth has been disgusting.
Yeah.
You know, we are currently in a climate crisis due to the fossil fuels
Not
that
if
we've
you're on
been
a flat
burning.
Earth. The fossil fuels are abiotic. Yeah,
okay, you know what? I'm sorry. This
You
is where
wanna
I'm going to
go
have to
there.
end the
But
discussion because
it can't come from
there
the
comes a
rotten
point where
bodies
I
of-
can rationalise with what you're saying, but
just
there's...
hear me, my sister.
No, I'm sorry. There's a point.
Good luck, hey. All the best. Hey guys, I'm sorry that I broke my stream there. I had to because it had frozen. That conversation was pretty cool, actually, and the poor young lady, I was annoying her with all of that. You know, it's hard to have your belief system challenged, and that's what we've done today. I've come out to Cardiff to challenge people's belief systems, not only the bull believers, the poor bull believers, but also you, my friends. I love humanity, and I know I'm one with humanity. But I also know that some of the antics that we see that have gone on in the community, as it's called, have served to sever relationships, damage our own ability to get out and be a voice in our own place, but not only in our own place, but also come together as a cohesive group. And actually, what's the point in being a flat earther or a ball denier when all you want to do is entrench that same kind of hatred of mistrust of them, mistrust of this group, mistrust of that group. You know, and I want to be that great example of that and say, look, what the F could I be doing differently that would make me seem like I'm not some kind of control agent? What could I be doing differently? And what are you doing differently? That means you're off your backside from behind the computer, out of the basement, doing to enhance the rate at which this truth spread. Because if you have anything to say to me about how I could be doing something differently, say it to me. But I'd prefer if you came and said it to my face, rather than making ridiculous claims, hit-piece videos, and you know, just sitting there mumbling behind your keyboard and not commenting. Because actually, if that's how you feel, you really need to look inside yourself, because it doesn't get much more sincere than I am, really. And if you are more sincere than me, come out and do this. Come out and do this. I'll stand by it alongside you. There's no fear. There's no need to kind of be pointing fingers and getting echoed. Come and ride on the road like I've done here. Come ride on the road. Go to your place, print some flyers, drop some leaflets, stick some stickers, do something, record it, get a video out of it, and you know, do something positive. But you know, this energy, this negative energy of breaking people down, it has to end. It has to end, and you know, it is ultimately surely part of our own maturation, our own growth through this process of learning, becoming the divine beings that we're meant to be. I'm, you know, I want to drag Jason and Harry and all these other guys along with me, and Dell, go, come on, guys, you guys are playing in the mud. No, I don't know. That's not that. I'm not putting you all in the. I'm not saying that's what you're doing, but if we're still like telling people, we're still thinking in our own hearts that this is just about the money, just about the taxes I'm going to save myself. This is much more than that. This is about your divinity. This is about our divinity, our trajectory towards something, whether it be in the next year, 2020, Martin Kenny, or whether it be in the next 200 years as a consequence of the little work that we're doing now, the work we're doing now, and the slow progression from indoctrinating people into a religious belief of balls and stuff. I like Mark Sargent's explanation that perhaps the world only discovered this, the modern world only discovered this 50 years ago, and that they knew that they couldn't release it overnight, and that it was going to have to be some kind of gradual burn, because it does hurt the mind, and you will see people running around crazy. If the BBC had to announce, and their much vaunted Prime Minister was to come out and say, I'm afraid to tell you, we've got it wrong, and it is a flat earth, and the religions are all this, and so on, that would create major havoc. I do like that theory, or that idea, that possibility, but it doesn't matter whether that's the truth or not. What matters is that you are a divine being, and your divinity has been robbed from you by these themes, by these ideas, by these means of religion and subjugation, and the giving away of your sovereignty, the giving away of your power. And we give away our power when we heed the bully in the room, whether it be some guy's a flat earther, or whether it be this science dogma. I mean, that lady, she was a young lady, she was probably 20, 25 years old, if that. And she was calling me honey and, wanting to kind of patronize me because I'm that dumb and she's that well educated. And it's like the religious lady I spoke to earlier on the Jehovah's Witness. I wasn't on camera when I spoke to her. This is my belief, and you're not going to change me from it. So it is my contention that we are meant to achieve something much higher than squabbling over money. Money is just the means, just the grease, just a method of doing what we do here. I'm not knocking the money thing. I'm not a fan of banking, but and let's try and move ourselves on from that, and move ourselves on from this dog squabble, man. We are one. We can't get our heads around that, and we're going to stay playing their game, fighting amongst each other. I had this idea the other day, and I mentioned it earlier, but that we are not all the same. There are those science minds. There are those kind of stand in the street and get angry minds, and we're different. We have different strengths. The ladies, they come with a different energy. They have a different strength. So let's not say, oh well, there's only my way of doing this. Can we be like big enough, grown up enough to go, well, let's all try and find a way to. And even I don't agree with the guys who want to cling on to their Muslim faith or the Christian faith or the. I don't agree with Dave Murphy's view on his religious outlook. So I don't agree with that. But I never did, whether it was a flat Earth or a ball Earth. That doesn't change anything. But when you get past all of that, you come to this divine message of being what we are. And that divinity is. You might just as well be watching a soap opera back on the TV. You might just as well be watching this rugby they've got going on at the moment, World Cup rugby. You might just as well be doing that if you can't get past, he said this and they're that and so on. They might be agents. Because at the end of the day, any name you can think of in the flat earth, people have cast aspersions on any name. But ultimately, all these people are doing at the end of the day is trying to spread this stuff. Does someone is it fair to say that if I architects and engineers for 9/11, the guy who ran that, they say, oh, he's a control agent, and maybe he is. But it's up to you whether you want to stay in the architects and engineers squabble for the rest of your days. That's up to you. I'm saying, let's get out of that squabble and move past it. Of course the Earth is flat. Of course it's not a spinning ball. The Earth is flat, did you know that?
No, it's not.
My friend, let me ask you, young man.
Where did the planes go?
I'm a 50-year-old man. Well, I'm a 50-year-old man. Sorry for calling you young man. I didn't mean to be rude. But, hello. I've got a 2.5-year-old. Similar.
Yeah.
Where did the planes go? What do you mean?
Where did the planes go? Like, if it's flat, how do they go all the way around?
So if it was a ball, right?
Yeah.
Would a plane need to be doing this all the time, like to follow its way around the ball? Would it need to be nosing down so that it could go around the ball? Would you agree with that?
Oh, he's done me, innit? He's done me with his smart answers. Yeah.
Think about that. You know, I
Yeah.
took in 2016. I only found this out in 2015, right? So in
Yeah.
2016, I got to go on a plane flight to France, and I took my digital spirit level.
Yeah.
I leveled it on the floor of the plane before we took off. And as we got once we were up in the air, the nose stayed up at 1.5 degrees the whole way until it was time to come back down, and it dropped to like a 0.5 degree, and then we started dropping back down. If the plane flies at 0, like this, it'll crash. It has to keep its nose up. There's no way it's actually going down, and eventually kind of landing upside down.
Yeah.
And if the ball Earth was spinning, planes would have an awful difficulty trying to either fly against 1,000-mile-an-hour spin or with 1,000-mile-an-hour spin, and then landing on a moving runway. Impossible. All flight simulators are done on a flat, level, unmoving surface.
Yeah.
So,
Interesting. Where can I find you to see some
I'm
more?
Trinity 4 on YouTube.
Trinity 4.
But I'll give you a flyer. You can just take away.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff that we've been absolutely bamboozled by the system. I promise you, I'm 50, like I said. I brought up my 2 older children in university, and I told them that we live on a spinning ball, and that in the center of the spinning ball there's a molten core. We've never drilled more than 8 miles into this earth.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
Thank you.
So check it out, and you know what?
Interesting.
I just say my youngest baby boy now, I didn't even get a birth certificate for him because the government is so corrupt. Well, the system is so corrupt. So once you start to learn about who you are, the truth about who and what we are, you'll realize that it's religion, science, it's all being done to create it to kind of keep us small, to keep us in a sort of slave kind of camp mentality. And that's the nature of it. So I'm not saying don't send your kids to school, but when you send them to school, at least you could send them to school with some good information. Because I would much rather, I'd much rather we knew the truth about who and what we are, and not allow them to get given. When I was 6, 7, 8 10 years old, and the teacher said, "Oh, gravity is holding everything onto this ball and stuff," and you say, "Oh, but miss, why isn't the water falling off?" Because of gravity. Well, you just believe that, and you never go away. You never go away and get the chance to retest that. But when you find out that water surfaces are always level when they stay, they never curve, then how do you form a ball?
Interesting.
How do you get rivers to flow up the side of a ball? How do you get people to walk underneath that? And you find out that all the stuff that NASA gives us is computer generated, artist renditions, the moon landings. There's a documentary called A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Moon. Check out that documentary on YouTube.
I will, mate. I'll look you up. Nice to meet you, man. I better get these kids back. All the best,
All
bro.
the best.
Take care.
Really, all the
I'll
best.
look
to you
into
guys.
that.
Much love, man. Take care. Did you catch that? Did you catch that? That was a great little hit. Hey, a little present for us there at the end here at the Cardiff leg. I mean, today's been a bit quiet for me. I have to be honest with you. I've not had, it's not the speaker's corner kind of cut and thrust and high powered like so many people. But that was great. I had the head standing on back because that guy, he felt it. I could tell. And his wife wasn't going poo-poo, because sometimes one's listening and the other one's going rolling eyes, but she was like, this guy's, yeah. Did you catch that? He was like, so what happens? Where do planes go? The east-west question. And I didn't even go there. I went, so what about the flying around the ball? Happy days. That made it worthwhile for me. Just that one interaction made it worthwhile for me. That woke me right up. You see, now that's why we're doing this. Because the young lady who was the biologist, it may take her forever. She may never. And use this criminal. I'm coming, brother. I just had a
Discussion's
fantastic
gone
interaction.
indoors. Come on then, brother.
I just had a
Come on.
fantastic interaction there.
I seen. I was watching you through the window. Peace and love, people.
All right, guys. Well, I'm going to say goodbye. Thank you very much for stopping by. I'll check out my stream conversation later and say thanks. Yeah.